श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। स्थावरं जङ्गमं व्याप्तं यत्किञ्चित् चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं च चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सर्वश्रुतिशिरोरत्नविराजितपदाम्बुजः वेदान्ताम्बुजसूर्यो यः तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चैतन्यशाश्वतशान्तो व्योमातीतो निरञ्जनः बिन्दुनाथकलातीतः तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ज्ञानशक्तिसमारूढः तत्त्वमाला विभूषितः भुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदाता च तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अनेकजन्मसम्प्राप्त कर्मबन्धविदाहिने आत्मज्ञानप्रदानेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। शोषणं भवसिन्धोश्च ज्ञापनं सारसम्पदः गुरोः पादोदकं सम्यक् तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। न गुरोरधिकं तत्त्वं न गुरोरधिकं तपः तत्त्वज्ञानात् परं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मन्नाथः श्रीजगन्नाथः मद्गुरोः श्रीजगद्गुरोः मदात्मा सर्वभूतात्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुरादिरणादिश्च गुरुः परमदैवतं गुरोः परतरं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तिसुदेशिकेन्द्रं द्वैपायनं सूत्रकृतं मुनीन्द्रं श्रीशङ्करं भाष्यकृतं यतीन्द्रं मद्देशिकञ्चापि नमामि विद्यै। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितप्रज्ञानगणः प्रत्यगर्तो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ॐ प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। Pranams everyone and wishes on Guru Purnima.
Pranams Guru.
Okay, we have to be eternally grateful to this parampara for giving us this knowledge, for ensuring that this knowledge has been continued, it has been provided to us in an unadulterated form. The Shastras, the Gurus and this parampara, we have to have the eternal sense of gratitude towards them. Okay, we are doing the second chapter summary. So the second as I said, the second chapter is the summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita itself. And Bhagavan has given all the concepts that are needed completely in a summarized form in this chapter. And in this chapter, there is one major topic which is about the Atma Jnana, which he has gone in detail. That is between Shloka 12 and 25. Or we can say 11 to 25. The primary purpose of this Bhagavad Gita, as I said, is it is for Shoka Nivritti, Ananda Prapti, or in other words, it is a Moksha Sastram. It's not, what is the primary purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to liberate us from this samsara. Not that Bhagavad Gita helps you to, handle your stress. Bhagavad Gita helps you to manage your day-to-day activities, helps you to focus on your work properly. Those are all avantara phalam. The mukhya phalam, the purpose behind Bhagavad Gita is to relieve us from samsara roga, to relieve us from grief. It is to relieve us from sorrow. It is to make us be happy at all times. So look at it and study it and listen to it from that standpoint. Now Bhagavan, when he is answering Arjuna in this chapter, when Arjuna is actually full of grief, so Bhagavan is actually constructing this teaching. First he gives the Jnana Yoga, and then when he wants to give this Jnana Yoga, he is basically trying to address Arjuna's sorrow from three standpoints. The first standpoint is where Arjuna thinks that Bhishma and Drona's Atma will die when they are killed in this battlefield. Therefore, to address that, Bhagavan says, Arjuna, you need not worry, because Atma, or the consciousness, it does not get destroyed at any time. It does not die. Atma Nityaha. And therefore, from that standpoint, you need not feel sad. And while saying that, Bhagavan started giving the other lakshanas of Atma. Atma Tattva was given. And the slokas were either directly from Upanishads or were giving the concepts that were taught that are taught in Upanishads. So Atma Nitya hai, then Bhagavan said Atma Satya hai. Atma is a reality which exists independently. What is Satya hai here? Satya hai means it exists independently and it is eternal. It does not depend on anything else. Atma does not depend on anything else for its existence. And Bhagavan gave that teaching in sloka number 16. So in 16 he says, Nasato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate satah, upayorapi drishtontah, tvanayos tattva darshibihi. This is one of the very important verses of this portion. We did almost an entire, more than a class to discuss this. And Shankaracharya also had written a very elaborate commentary on this particular shloka. So you may refresh that teaching or that particular session class. Then the third feature that Bhagavan gave or presented is Atma Sarvagataha. As in the consciousness is all pervading. The Atma, which we have to recognize as self, I, is all pervading. It is all pervading, but then why am I not able to feel myself as all pervading? If you ask this question, then the answer is the all pervading consciousness can be made evident only in a reflecting medium. Only if there is a reflecting medium, you will be able to recognize the consciousness principle. The same way, if there is light, for the light to be made evident, you need a body or an object where it can get reflected upon. Otherwise, you will not be able to recognize light. That's why in outer space it looks dark. Unless it hits an object like a planet or any other thing, you are able to see the light being reflected on it. So Atma Sarvagataha. So how does it work? So the Chaitanyam principle is Vyaktam in the body. Vyaktam means it is evident, it is evident in the body, but outside it is not Gyaktam. Same thing with the electricity also. Electricity is evident where there is light. So I can recognize electricity when there is a bulb which grows. But in between, in the wires, the electricity is there, but it is not evident for me. It is not visible for me. So this is an important feature. Atma Sarvagataha. I am all pervading. Then the fourth important feature that Bhagavan talks about is Atma Aprameyaha. Aprameyaha, this is also an important feature. Atma Aprameyaha means Atma is ever the experiencer. Atma is the experiencer and never the experienced. Atma is basically the subject and can never be the object. So just like the camera can click and take the pictures of everything, except that the camera cannot take the picture of itself. And this is important because Atma Aprameya means which cannot be experienced, means I cannot sit in meditation and say that I am trying to experience my Atma. I want to bring Atma into my experience, into my object of experience. That is not possible. Meditating upon the lakshanas of features of Atma is possible. But meditating upon Atma itself is not possible. That we have to understand. So if somebody says, I am meditating, I am seeing a blue light going up in my consciousness or in my mind, it is not Atma. So this is Atma Aprameya. Then Bhagavan gives another feature. The fifth feature which he gives, again an important feature which we have to read together, is Atma Akarta, Atma Abhokta. Which means Atma neither does any action nor does it reap the result of any action. It's neither the doer nor the enjoyer. Atma has no connection with the karma. Whatever actions we do, we sit, we stand, we talk, we listen, anything that we do has got no connection with Atma. Abhokta means no connection with the karma phala. So I feel cold, I feel hot, I feel happy, I feel sad, I am proud, I am jealous, I am feeling loud, I am in love, nothing, no feeling of it. There is no connection of this with Atma. Karma bhi nasti, phalamapi nasti. That's why we say, and which means what? Phalam is nasti means what? There is no punyam, there is no papam for Atma. Na punyam, na papam, na saukyam, na dukkam, na mantro, na tirtam, na veda, na yajnaha. Aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhokta chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. So Atma is Akarta Abhokta. Then the next sixth feature of Atma is Atma Nirvikaraha. Nirvikaraha, again important feature. This we saw in Sloka number 20. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nitya shashvatoyam puranah na hanyate hanyamane sharire. There are no changes. Atma does not have any changes. And an important concept, and that's why Bhagavan changed the meter of this sloka. Just to wake us up, it's an important one. Please understand this. Atma Nirvikara. Atma does not undergo any change. Atma does not undergo any form of modification. If something does not undergo any form of modification, then it means that it is ever present. It does not have any death. And all 6 modifications. What are the 6 modifications? The potential existence, then from potential existence to birth, then from birth to growth, growth to change, then from change to decay, and then finally death. Asti, jayate, vardate, viparinimate, apakshiyate, vinashyati. The 6 stages of 6-fold modifications. So Atma is free from these things. Shad Vihara Rahita Atma. So Bhagavan gave all these features and said to Arjuna, Arjuna, recognize this Atma. And this Jnana Yoga is your permanent remedy, or is the permanent remedy for all problems. Is it easy to understand? Not really. It is easy for everyone to comprehend? No. Bhagavan himself tells that. He said that in Sloka number 29. Again, meter change. Bhagavan said, Ascharyavat pashyati kashtadenam, Ascharyavat badati tataiva chanyah, Ascharyavaschainyamanyah shrunoti, Shutvapyenam vedana chaiva kashchit. Atma is such a topic that we can study about it for 25 years, 30 years, and we can still be ignorant successfully at that to understand what Atma is. Because it is the subtlest of the subtlest. And if it is difficult for us to grasp this, then there can be only one reason for it. That we have not got the yogyata. Jnana yogyata prapti should be then our sadhana. How to make myself qualified enough to understand this. And for us, the qualification, the sadhana for getting this qualification is karma yoga. So Bhagavan, thus in this section between 12 to 25, he taught about Atma, and with the underlying message that Arjuna, you need not feel sorrow that Bhishma and Drona's Atma will die when they are killed. So from an Atma standpoint, Arjuna, you need not feel sad. There is no reason for you to be in sorrow. So just continue to fight the war. So this is the first standpoint from which Arjuna's sorrow was being addressed by Bhagavan. That is, Atma dying when they are killed. Bhagavan basically negated it and said there is no way that their Atma will die. Now, the second standpoint is Arjuna being sad that, okay, forget the Atma, but I will feel sad, or I will feel sad if their anatma gets killed, as in when their bodies die. Then I will feel sad about it. I'll be in a state of sorrow. So Bhagavan says that even from that angle, Arjuna, you need not feel sorrow, because anything that is born must die one day. Sloka number 27. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrutyuhu dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmad apariharyarte natvam shochitum arhasi. Apariharyam means what? There is no, this is inevitable. Apariharyam means there is no pariharam for it. There is no way that you can get over it. If a body is born, it must die. So one should not feel sorrow over what cannot be changed. If something cannot be changed, it must be accepted. This is very important. There is the serenity prayer is also about this only. The serenity prayer talks about, Bhagavan, whatever I can change, I should be in a position to change. Whatever I cannot change, make me accept it. And Bhagavan, give me the wisdom to understand or know the difference between these two. Acceptance is a very important quality, or a very necessary quality for spirituality. The resistance to the things that are bound to happen is called samsara. I am bound to know that the relationship will not last, as in when one person dies, this relationship will end. Whether it is good or bad, that is different. But when I try to stop it from happening, this is called as samsara. When I try to stop it from happening, in the sense, inevitably I do not want it to happen at all. Having that thought itself is samsara. So Bhagavan says, whether we like it or not, the body, once it is born, has to die one day, and that has to be accepted. So that is from this second standpoint, that what happens if Bhishma's and Drona's body die, I am still under the state of sorrow. How can I address that? So Bhagavan said, accept it. Now, third possible cause for Arjuna's sorrow is from dharma standpoint. As in, Arjuna asking this question, is it dharma? Is it dharma? Is it the right way? Is it righteousness to kill Bhishma and Drona? So Arjuna's standpoint could be, let the Atmas remain as always. Let Atma be Nitya, let the bodies die. But why should I kill them? Or why should I be the cause of their killing, of their death? Now Bhagavan clarifies that and says, Arjuna, you must fight this war from the standpoint of dharma. Because it is your swadharma, it is your duty. Bhagavan in Sloka number 31, Swadharmamapi chavekshya navikampitum harasi dharmyati yuddha shreyonyat kshatriyasya navidyate. From Swadharma standpoint, Arjuna, as a Kshatriya, you will have to uphold Dharma. That is your duty. So Bhagavan basically clarified from all three standpoints that Arjuna, you will have to fight. Atma standpoint, Anatma standpoint, Dharma standpoint, there is no reason for you to feel sad, or there is no cause for your sorrow. So fight. So this Jnana Yoga was basically the second topic of this chapter. The first topic is Arjuna Sharanagati. Remember, 1 to 10 Arjuna Sharanagati, 11 to 25 Jnana Yoga. We can extend it until 39 also. But 11 to 25 is the features of Atma. 11 to 39 is the entire Jnana Yoga topic. Then from Shloka 40 to 53, Bhagavan takes up Karma Yoga. Remember, Karma Yoga is discussed in various places in Bhagavad Gita. In fact, Jnana Yoga is covered little, Karma Yoga is taught a lot. And that's why sometimes people misunderstand Bhagavad Gita to be Karma Yoga, a book for Karma Yoga. It's not that. Karma Yoga is taught as a necessary step towards qualifying. To qualify oneself for Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga is the necessary step. And therefore Bhagavan has given it in detail. It's not an end by itself. Remember, Karma Yoga will not give moksha. Suppose somebody says, I am doing my duty. That's all. Leave it to me. I will get moksha. No, okay, doing your duty, very good, nice. But that will not give you moksha. And so in this chapter, Bhagavan gives a summary or essence of Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is discussed in detail in the third chapter. The entire chapter is dedicated for Karma Yoga. Now here in Shloka number 40, Bhagavan gave the essence of Karma Yoga. Nehabhikramanoshosthi pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. He said basically there is no failure while doing Karma Yoga. One cannot fail if he does Karma Yoga. There is no adverse result in doing Karma Yoga. I do Karma Yoga, will I get counterproductive? Will it become counterproductive? No. And therefore, he started the topic of Karma Yoga by praising Karma Yoga, glorifying Karma Yoga. Then Bhagavan used the word Vyavasa Yatmika Buddhihi. Vyavasatmika Buddhihi means people who can be single pointed in their mind. People who are single pointed in their mind and intellect, only those people can attain the Purusharthas, can attain the goals of life. And he criticizes people who are not single pointed. Avyavasa Atmika Buddhihi, Bhagavan criticizes them because they get distracted. They do their actions based on the desires. Manam pona pokkile, they do. And where does he criticize them? He criticizes them in between 42 and 44. 3 shlokas. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadantya vipaschitaha. Vedavada ratah partha nanyadastiti vadinaha. And he says these people who are all, distracted, they don't know where to go, what to do for moksha or for seeking Ananda Prapti, for their Shoka Nivritti, they will be enamored, they will be attracted into doing various Kamya Karmas. Kamya Karmas meaning whatever has been mentioned in the Veda Purva Bhaga, which means they think that by only doing pujas, by doing pariharas, by doing all those things, one will be able to remove Shoka, get Ananda. And their intellect also will not be steadfast. They will be distracted into doing some things for some time, and then another thing for another person comes back and says, do this puja, they will do that puja, then they will say another temple, go to this temple. They will keep moving. And here we should also take into consideration people who get distracted by the things of these days, the distractions of today, which can lead you to get attracted to Arthakama, stock market, property market, all these, enjoying the pleasures of life. If it is given priority, the time anyway is limited, and therefore you will not have Vyavasa Yatmika Buddhi towards spiritual growth. So in this portion, Bhagavan criticized karma as in criticized action, but praised Karma Yoga. Criticized action, but the same action, if it is done with an attitude change, Bhagavan praised it. The main shloka here, 47. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma paleshu kadachana ma karma phalayetur buhu ma te sangostva karmani. This is an important essence of Karma Yoga within one shloka. Bhagavan says, one has the right choice, or one has the right or the choice over the actions. We all have the choice over the actions, whether I want to do this action, whether I don't want to do the action, or whether I want to do the same action differently. I have a choice over the actions. But I do not have the choice on the results. The choice on the results are based on Ishvara's will. The karma palam is also based on the sankalpam that we carry in our mind. But Bhagavan says, just because you think that you do not have a choice over the results, and therefore do not end up saying, I will not do any action. Do not give up on action. Bhagavan says, do not get attached to inaction. Inaction is even worse. Trying to be lazy, trying to not take any action is even worse than doing the action. So, and further in shloka number 48, Bhagavan gives a shloka which defines Karma Yoga. Defines of Karma Yoga, Yogastha Kuru Karmani Sangam Tyaktva Dhananjaya Siddhyo Asiddhayo Samo Bhutva Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Somebody asks, what is the definition of karma yoga? There are two defining phrases. Samastvam yoga uchyate. There is one which is very important. Then yoga karmasu kaushalam, which Bhagavan will say in next 50. These are the two defining slokas of karma yoga. Similarly, what is the lakshana of moksha? Atmanyeva atmana tushtaha. We'll have to remember these terms. This is useful for nididhyasana. Whenever we are, what is karma yoga? Samatvam yoga uchyate. Evenness of mind. Evenness of mind in what? Evenness in doing our duties. So there should not be any likes and dislikes when we are doing our duties. Whatever is our duty, we should perform it. And evenness in accepting the results of action. Whether it is favorable or unfavorable, accept them without cribbing. That is important. That is called as karma yoga. Why is karma yoga important? Again, only then our mind, our intellect will get qualified to receive the jnana. Why jnana is important? Only jnana will remove shoka, will give us ananda. And therefore karma yoga, and therefore jnana is important. And for getting jnana, karma yoga is a necessary step. As I said, in Sloka 50, Bhagavan gives the next definition of karma yoga. Buddhi yukto jahati hai ube sukrita dushkrite tasmat yogaya yujyasva yoga karmasu kaushalam. Karma yoga is yoga karmasu kaushalam. Doing your action skillfully. Skill in action is called as karma yoga. Immediately remember, it is not about doing the things skillfully, as in all actions skillfully. It doesn't mean that way. It does not mean doing any action efficiently. If that is the case, if any particular thief, as I said, if he is able to open if a burglar is able to open the house, a locked door or a locked house or a locker skillfully, it becomes karma yoga. But that is not the case. What it means here is, skill in action means ability to convert the action. Every action that we do in this world causes attachment. Every action. Everything that we do in this world is a cause of attachment or aversion. Now, to convert that action of attachment into an action that will not cause any attachment, that is called as being skillful. And it is a great skill. And that skill, converting that is actually karma yoga. How can we convert? By having that attitude, the right attitude. So, in Tamil we say, mulla mullal edukkirathu. To remove the thorn, you use the thorn. Similarly, to remove attachment, which is caused by karma, we have to use the same karma, but with a different attitude. To convert from attachment, we are able to come out of attachment, to get us out of attachment. To remove bondage is skill in action. And not only karma yoga removes bondage, it also gives us the mental purification. The mind gets purified. And therefore, karma yoga is defined as skill in action. Then in this karma yoga section, in the last two slokas, Bhagavan says, Sloka number 52, Yadate mohakalilam buddhir vyatitarishyati tadagantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya srotasya cha. Bhagavan says, when your mind can fully transcend, from the dirt of delusion, moha kalilam, delusion, moham is delusion, Kalilam means dirt. When the mind can fully transcend the dirt of delusion, then you can get detachment from things. Tada gantasi nirvedam. Nirvedam means vairagya. You can get detachment from things. On what? Shrotavyasya srutasya cha. Things that have been heard and things that are yet to be heard. What does it mean? It means if the mind can get free from delusion, only then one can attain vairagya. In our lives, we strive for a lot of materialistic things. To get more money, to get wealth, to get comforts, to enjoy our life, to get our children educated, to get our children married, to have a healthy body, and all those things we strive. We do a lot of things. What we do not do, or not many of us do, is we to strive for vairagya. Vairagya is not easy to attain. It is not that we lead our life as what it is and it will happen automatically. It does not happen that way. We have to put in effort. We have to do our sadhanas. Only then we can attain vairagya. What is vairagya? Vairagya is the pinnacle of mental strength. Somebody has got vairagya on the things the world can offer. Nobody can make him weak. It is the pinnacle of mental strength. Remember, it is not aversion. We are not talking about aversion. One need not have any aversion towards anybody. One need not have any hatred on anything. It is about the removal. It is about the removal, the feeling of I want to seek enjoyment from this object. Only this object can give me happiness. Only this object can give me enjoyment. That removal of that feeling is called as vairagya. How does one attain vairagya? When the delusion goes. What is delusion? The delusion is what? That this object is the cause of my happiness. This object is the reason for my happiness. Only this object can give me enjoyment. That delusion must go. It can be people, it can be relations, it can be object, it can be situations. I go to a nice place, go for a nice holiday. This place is peaceful. I want to always remain here. Because only this can give me enjoyment. That is also an attachment. So how this delusion will go? By following Karma Yoga. By following Karma Yoga consistently over a period of time, this delusion that the intellect has will be removed. And we will get Viveka and Vairagya. So, yada te moha kalilam buddhirgateta rishyati tatagantasi nirvedam srotavyasya srotavsya cha is an important sloka for us to identify. It is a lingam. It will tell us whether I have completed the sadhana of Karma Yoga or not. It is a milestone sloka. Whether the sadhaka is ready for Atmajnana. Similarly, what is the sloka or what is the lingam? What is the identification for a person to check whether I have completed Jnana Yoga now? Have I attained Jnana? Bhagavan gives in the next sloka 53. Shruti vipratipannate yada stasyati nischala samadha vachala buddhihi tada yogama apsyasi. When the intellect can stay on this Atma Jnana or Atma at all times, when the intellect can stay on Atma, which means what? My mind and my intellect are able to is able to actually be on a particular thought alone. The thought of Atma, the thought on Atma Lakshanas. And that I am that Atma. Then the sadhaka can claim to have completed Jnana Yoga also. This is milestone shloka 53. So Bhagavan gave the rewards of Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga in 52 and 53. Rewards are basically the milestones. So Karma Yoga concludes in shloka number 53. Then in the fourth topic, or the last topic, or the last section within this chapter is Sthita Prajna Lakshana and Sthita Prajna Upaya. Sthita Prajna Lakshana means the features of a jnani, the lakshanas of a jnani. How do you define a jnani? And Sthita Prajna Sadhana means what are the sadhanas for getting the knowledge fully assimilated. Remember, we are talking about a person who has got the jnana already, for him to assimilate that knowledge. We are not talking about a normal sadhaka. We are here talking about a sadhaka who has already got this jnana, which means he has already completed karma upasana yoga. He has already done shravanam. Now we are talking about, he has already done mananam also. We are only talking about the nididhyasana portion, the last portion. So, who has completed Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and how to convert from Jnana to Jnana Nishta. And how did this start? Basically, Arjuna asked, give me Sthita Prajna Lakshana. How does a Jnani look? How does a Jnani behave? If he has cleared, or if he has cleared all the hurdles, and if he has gained self-knowledge, how does he behave? And Bhagavan gave the Lakshana. He says, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyeva atmana tushtaha sthita prajnyas tadochyate. Shloka number 55. This person has basically assimilated this knowledge, and he has converted this intellectual knowledge into emotional strength. We are talking about that person. And how does Bhagavan define this person? Atmanyeva atmana tushtaha. This is the definition of Sthita Prajna. One who is satisfied in the realization of the self. A person who can find happiness in himself. Whatever be the situation around, whatever be the state, whether you are in a hot weather, under cold weather, or whether you are having food, not having food, whether you are with the persons you like, there is no question of like or dislike, whether with person, without person around you, without people around you, whether you are in ashram or in a house, whether you are in midst of chaos or in a peaceful environment, as long as you are satisfied, you can find happiness in yourself. That is the definition for an Atma Jnani. We say Swastaha. Swastaha Sthita Prajnaha. Swastaha means, Swa means one's own. Staha. It's like Grihastaha. We say Grihastaha means what? A householder, a person who is in Griha. Similarly, Swastaha means being one's own. Happy with himself. Swastaha Sthita Prajnaha. The problem for us is our mind is not with us. Our mind is constantly with objects, other people, relations, situations. Our mind is always there. That is called as samsara. So, the mind which is actually focused externally to actually convert and make it look inwards is the sadhana. And if the mind and intellect can stay on Atma Jnana, on Atma, then you have attained Jnana. So what is moksha? Moksha means I am happy with myself. I can remain in quietude and be contented with whatever is happening around me. Basically, there is no condition for my being happy. For me to be happy, there are no conditions. This person has to be like this, my body has to be like this, I should be fully fit, I should have enough food, there should be enough comfort. No such conditions. If our happiness is dependent on somebody else or something else, then it is called as samsara. So how can I be happy with myself? Shastra says, you can be happy when you know yourself. When you get this Atma Jnana, when you get this Brahma Jnana, you can be happy. Then further, Bhagavan here talks about how a Sthita Prajna faces his prarabdha. We all have prarabdha. Even a jnani has prarabdha. How does he face it? He faces with equanimity. That's given in sloka number 56. Dukkeshu anudvikna manaha, sukeshu vigata spruhaha, vitaraga bhayakrodhaha, stitadir muniruchyate. Dukkeshu anudvikna manaha, sukeshu vigata spruhaha. There is basically a samatvam, equanimity of the mind. A mind which is free from raga dvesha. There is no raga dvesha, there is no bhayam, there is no krodham. Because everything, whether it is attachment, whether it is aversion, whether it is fear, anger, the mind gets into a turbulence. There is turbulence created by fear, there are turbulences created by anger, turbulences created by jealousy. The moment I know that this person whom I don't like is doing well, my mind gets agitated. There is turbulence created by pride. So Bhagavan says, all of them do not come to Jnani. A Jnani is free from all these things. He enjoys samatvam. He, in spite of ups and downs, whether it is dukkham or sukham, there is a constant tranquility in mind. Then Bhagavan talks about Sthita Prajna Upaya. Upaya means how do I become? How to become a Sthita Prajna? What is the means to convert Jnana into Jnana Nishta? The means to convert Jnana into Jnana Nishta is Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana is a sadhana to convert Prajna to Sthita Prajna. Jnana to Jnana Nishta. How do we do it? In the form of dhyana, as in meditation. What kind of meditation? Vedantic meditation. Doing dhyana on Vedantic verses. As I said, there are lots of Nididhyasana slokas. Meditating upon those slokas. Meditating upon 12 to 25 basically. All the Atma Lakshana slokas. Meditating upon them as in understanding that I am that. Atma Sarvagataha is third party. I am all pervading is Vedantic meditation. And Bhagavan in this portion says, apart from this Nididhyasana, Bhagavan gives two important sadhanas. Shamaha, Damaha. Shamaha means mental discipline. Damaha means sensory discipline. Shamaha and Damaha are like the diet to the medicine of Nididhyasana. If Nididhyasana is the medicine, for the medicine to work properly, you need to follow the diet. And the diet control to be followed is mental discipline and sensory discipline. Only then the prajna will convert itself to Sthita Prajna. Damaha means Indriya Nigraha, sensory discipline, sense mastery. The sense mastery is important even for just Shravanam itself. Even for studying Gita, the sense control has to be there. Sense mastery is the best. Suppose if we are sitting in the class and the mind keeps going, not mind, senses, we are talking about senses. The eyes start looking somewhere else, the ears start listening to what is being spoken around us, then we do not have a mastery over the senses. So sense control is important even for Shravanam. But it is must have for converting Jnana to Jnana Nishta. Why? Because if it is not there, whatever enters our mind are through the sense organs. And if the sense organs do not have any control, it directly goes into the mind. And if every rubbish thing goes into the mind, it can disturb our mind. And a disturbed mind cannot assimilate Vedanta. Remember, we are not talking about sensory suppression. Not suppression, only a regulation. Channeling the senses, directing the senses. Our Shastras do not subscribe to suppression. Suppression is as dangerous as a free let go philosophy. We do not agree on a free let go philosophy also. Let the sense organs do whatever it wants. After all, it's only one life, people say. Enjoy. There is only one life, enjoy. We do not subscribe to that also. So, sensory discipline. Then that is damaha. Then shamaha means mano nigraha, thought discipline. Again, why is it important? Certain thoughts, we deliberately do not entertain them. The thought comes, I know it can disturb my mind, I immediately take off. Similarly, the sense organs also. If I do not want to hear about some things initially which can disturb my mind, I do not talk about them. I do not stay in the place where that is being discussed. Similarly, when a thought comes, this thought can bring out my negative thought behavior. For example, it can give me bad thoughts. It can give me I can feel jealous about that person, or I can even feel superior over that person. Then try not to bring that. When the first thought comes, we may not have any control over it. That is coming out of our Purva Janma Samskaras. It's fine. It's not under our control. But whether we should patronize it, whether we should actually fuel it, whether we should actually give it more freedom for it to actually express itself, that is in our hands. Whether we want to perpetuate that thought, that is in our hands. So we should be constantly aware. Awareness is a very important sadhana for a spiritual person. Being aware of situations, being aware of our mind, being aware of our sense organs, where does it go? And how can we avoid all these negative things? By using the sense organs only for the purpose of transaction. As much as possible, using it only for the purpose of transaction, we will be able to control our indriyas, and through indriyas, the mind. So that is what Bhagavan talks about here. Then in the last 4 slokas, Bhagavan again gives the Sthita Prajna Lakshana. And where Bhagavan talked about a jnani being awake to what is night for an ajnani. And how we saw that? We saw that a jnani being awake to Advaita Tattva, whereas an ajnani is awake to Dvaita Tattva. So that is, Bhagavan said in the last 69th sloka, Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. Then Bhagavan said, a jnani does not have any binding desires. Whatever he wants to do, if they are done and successful, fine. If they are not fulfilled, then also it is fine. These are called as non-binding desires. So for a jnani, all binding desires are gone, and there are only non-binding desires which are harmless. And this is because of self-sufficiency. He does not need a desire to be fulfilled or desire to get fulfilled for him to feel complete. For us samsaris, we always want something to be achieved, only then we will feel complete. For a jnani, that is not the case. We call it purnatvam. He does not miss anything in life. Therefore, what is the lakshana of sthita prajna? Purnatvam, samatvam. Contentment, equanimity. Contentment, equanimity. That is the definition of a jnani. Main traits of a sthita prajna. And Bhagavan concludes the chapter by saying, sthita prajna is a free bird. He never faces any conflict. He enjoys freedom. And then in the last sloka, 72, Bhagavan says, Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha Nainam Prapya Vimukhyati. Sthita prajna is a Brahma Sthiti. And one does not get deluded in that. Sthitvasyam antakalepi Brahma Nirvanam Richati. If a person gets this, even at the old age, he gets Brahma Nirvanam. Thus he gets Videha Mukti. So he not only enjoys while living, he also enjoys freedom after death. So with this, the fourth and final topic of chapter 2 is over. Bhagavan concludes chapter 2. 4 topics: Arjuna Sharanagati, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Sthita Prajna Lakshanana Upaya. This is a summary of this end. Chapter 2. As I said, it's not just chapter 2. Entire summary of Vedanta is there. Just the order is changed. First we'll have to talk about Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Here Bhagavan changes the order. But Jnana Yoga is the central theme. So with that, this chapter called Sankhya Yoga is complete. Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvitiyo Dhyayah. Om Tat Sat. Any questions or comments? Okay. If not, we will meet again in the next class. We will start chapter 3. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.